Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Today, a legend, one of the 5 Ruthenium series limited editions from FP Journe in the early to mid-2000s. This is the FP Journe Octa Jour Nuit in ruthenium. The day and the night, 40 millimeters in diameter. All of the Ruthenium series watches featured 40 millimeter platinum cases, a 99-piece edition. You can see they're individually numbered on the back. The watch features a unique solid gold ruthenium coated dial that gives it its distinctive aesthetic. And on the back, this is brass movement era FP Journe, but the brass is covered in ruthenium instead of the more conventional rhodium. Now the model was made 99 pieces, and it was in production because, of course, Journe didn't make enough watches to turn out 5 times 99 in a single year. This model was made in fits and starts from 2002 to 2005. 40 in diameter, it's 10.1 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, 48 millimeters with a 20 millimeter spacing in between the lugs. We'll throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and it wears nicely. I would recommend this watch for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference, because you can see I have a lot of clearance on both sides, and down the barrel really is the definitive angle. Over the top always exaggerates the width of a watch, though you can see the lugs are still inboard. And it is a flat watch with a sloped bezel, so it will slide underneath the dress cuff. The strap is current spec Journe, so small round scale gaiter on the bottom. We have medium and small rectangular scale on the top, an unusual cut of the beast. We've got a semi-gloss finish. You can see we've got a fold edge with a monotone stitch, curved spring bars, because Journe always drills his cases really close. The lugs are always drilled close to the case to make narrow pivot centers across the wrist, further inboard from the edge of the lug than the measurement would suggest for better fit on small wrists. But to prevent any impediment to the motion of the strap, you need to use a curved spring bar, so he does. The latest thinking here in strap technology with a pull tab spring bar, so you can pop the strap off without a tool. And this watch has a highly desirable option, which is a full clasp with a platinum buckle and a white gold chassis. So Journe uses white gold for the mechanical parts, the folding parts of clasps, because white gold is similar enough to platinum, so it matches a platinum watch, but white gold is the hardest and strongest gold, which is why it's used for this application specifically. It's a snapshot friction clasp, but if you look carefully underneath the buckle itself, the buckle is made of platinum. So if you look carefully right there, you can see it says 950. So you're not being shorted the platinum, it's just being put to use where it can be seen, and the stronger gold underneath. That's a very expensive option, 4 figures to add this thing to the watch, so it's great to have it already. The case is familiar, it's a long-running Journe classic. We've got more or less symmetrical case back and bezel structures, both domed with flanges that overlap to define the mid-case, all integrated lugs that turn down 90 degrees from the horizontal of the case band. It's all polished. We have the Journe double dimple knurled crown that is unbranded but oh so distinctive. You know immediately who invented and made that. The dial features a sterling silver sub-dial that's been galvanized silver white, so that's where you read your hours, minutes, and seconds. Then there's a polished steel bezel around it. The bezel, as well as the dial proper, fixed using visible dial side assembly hardware. That's a long-time Journe design trait, introduced in 1999 on its original tourbillon remontoir. It was once controversial. Today it's almost universally copied. Now this is the jour et nuit, so we have the day and the night. And this is as viewed from the northern hemisphere, from the North Pole. So this is not a moon phase. What this is a day and night indicator. You'll note that as I advance, you could see that little metallized disc goes from day to night. And so it is the day and the night, jour et nuit. We have a double-digit date right there, and I may as well roll through the change so I can show you the quick set. But we have a double-digit date with instantaneous jumping. Note that both of those discs are flush rather than stacked and tiered. That's a sign of excellent watchmaking aptitude, but you wouldn't really expect any less from this guy. There is a quick set for the date, which I'll demonstrate now. And in a way, the day-night indicator acts as a caution against using the quickset during the nighttime hours. Power reserve, 120 hours, but there's more to it than that. Journe wanted a chronometric power reserve of 5 days, and that's what he achieved. The watch will actually run for almost 160 hours before it stops. Journe reasoned that although in the COSC an automatic movement can keep consistent chronometer grade time because it's being wound continuously, on the wrist, an automatic movement will actually wind up in a bunch of variable and inconsistent states of wind, which will make it difficult to run to chronometer tolerances. So seeking his long power reserve and chronometer spec operation from an automatic, he came up with a solution, which is 1 meter long mainspring in a single barrel, but it's very thin in cross section. As a result, he was able to engineer it so it has a very broad and flat torque curve. So for 120 continuous hours from full wind, that curve is like a mesa, flat across the top. The idea being that no matter where you are in that 120 hours, the force to the escapement will be constant, and thus he can call this watch a chronometer by his standards. It's also adjusted in 5 positions, which is the chronometer standard. We have a 22-karat Grand Orge, or barleycorn rotor, winding this elaborate single barrel system. We have a 3 hertz beat rate with a physically massive balance that makes up in inertia what it lacks in beat rate, and it's free sprung with all the adjustments being done using those variable inertia screws on the balance. And so this is a very precise watch, but also fairly shock resistant. The movement is large, of course, ruthenium coated brass, 30.4 millimeters in diameter. And fascinating here, you can see how we chart the changes in times at Journe, as this still features the original caliber 1300, which was brass and used bidirectional winding. Bidirectional became unidirectional around 2007. Also, in mid-2005, Journe's case maker, Eleanor, stopped stamping the cases with the year of manufacture, so this case was made in 02. Another important thing is that Eleanor itself went away in mid-2008, so the Eleanor cases, that is from 1999 to about mid-2008 on Journe watches, they were made outside of Paris, and so you would wind up with the Eleanor maker's mark, and next to that the French double eagle hallmark indicating Eleanor manufactured in France. Then you'd also get the Swiss stamp because it would go to be assembled in Switzerland, so you wind up with double hallmarking. And again, that went around until about mid-2008. Some old cases were later used up, but that's when everything was moved from France to Geneva to become Journe's case factory. So there is a lot to love here, and a rare piece. 30 meters water resistant, so please don't swim with it, but it's got everything else going for it. A limited edition and a revered edition from a very influential watchmaker. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.